We interrupt your regular flow of wrenching on drift cars videos for this important update on what we're thinking of doing in 2019. And that is building a shit car? A cheap track car?
Something along those lines.
Something that we can build cheaply, that we can have all of our friends and YouTubers and racing drivers. Anybody come out. Patreon supporters can come out to the track with us and pound the living hell out of this car and do it in sort of like a head-to-head battle format. So we're kind of thinking we'll have like two of our favorite YouTubers come out and have them go head-to-head in this same car and see who's faster. Or, you know, we could have Dove and Riley from Enviado come out and have a head-to-head battle. Or we can have, you know, we're thinking we'll have a Patreon day where all of our top Patreon supporters come out and do a battle in this car, and whoever's our fastest Patreon will win a prize.
Sure, yeah.
These are kind of the ideas that we're kicking around.
And I want to make sure that, you know, there are also timed laps, so we have like our lap time leaderboard just for that vehicle. So if somebody does want to come out and they don't necessarily have anybody to challenge, they can still come out and set a hot lap.
Exactly. Think of Top
Gear style.
What do they call it? A celebrity in a reasonably priced car?
Something like that.
That's what they call it. So similar concept to that. And as far as picking a car goes, we've been kicking around a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I think now we're leaning towards a Miata.
Yes.
Or an MX-5, as you might call it in some places.
Yeah.
We looked at like first-gen Boxsters and Z3s. And
I like the Z3 because it was different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that would be a cool car. But the aftermarket support wasn't there necessarily. So.
Yeah. And cheap and BMW don't really go hand in hand.
Yeah, we want a car that we can literally take to the track, put 30, 40 laps through it without it really skipping a beat, right?
Mm-hmm. So we thought about other stuff too, like RX-8s are so cheap.
Yeah.
You can buy those almost.
Rotary, no
People
good.
will pay you to take those away, but yeah, rotary is not ideal for what we're planning. So when we really started to break it down, the Miata looks more and more attractive because they're really light on consumables. They don't use a lot of tire. They don't use a lot of brake. Being lightweight and rear-wheel drive, we think it'll make for some really fun videos because it's a car that you'll have to drive the living hell out of to get a good lap time out of. But exciting things can happen in a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, so it's not too fast where it could potentially kill you per se, right?
Yeah, not an intimidating car for people to jump in if they're not an experienced track driver. And if something breaks on it, it's cheap and easy to fix.
There's a lot of aftermarket support. That's a big thing for us. We want to make sure when we build this car, we're going to do it on a budget. We're actually hoping to use a bunch of stuff that we have laying around here, like old racing seat. But from a safety perspective, we'll make sure that it's properly equipped. And like, I don't even think we're going to touch the engine in the beginning.
No, just
make sure exactly to keep it running tip-top shape, do some suspension work, just do kind of like all the typical track day mods that you would do at a minimum.
A very basic track build at that. Like we won't put it on super sticky tires. We'll put it on something that lets the car move around and slide around on, because to get the most out of a low horsepower rear wheel drive car on a not so grippy tire is an interesting challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I think that'll help create some separation on our leaderboard in terms of you know who's really getting the most out of the car. So I think from a driving challenge standpoint, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So that kind of led us to the point where we're like, okay, if we're going with a Miata, which generation of Miata do we choose?
Yes.
That's not an easy one.
And despite me loving the first generation, I think from a usability standpoint, the smaller one is the hardest one for us to kind of get behind.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be hard to fit people in it, right? Like decent sized people.
Yeah, the NA is a tight fit for me, and I'm only 6 feet, 210, 215. So imagine us trying to like shoehorn Moose in there for a big boy challenge.
I mean, it would be cool, but I don't think he's actually going to be able to drive the car.
Yeah, his head's going to be above the windshield, which won't be safe. By the way, we will put a roll bar in this car. That'll be a requirement. So that brings us to the NB or the NC.
Yes.
The NC does have more interior room than the NB, but it doesn't have as much aftermarket support. Mm-hmm. It's not as loved a chassis. It's not as popular on the internet.
Yeah. I personally like it better than the NB.
Do you?
I do. I like the styling of it.
Really?
I'm not a huge NB styling.
Yeah, I know. You've always been lukewarm on that car.
It's a little too jelly beady for me. But
I like the style of the NB more than the NC. I think it's like size-wise, it's kind of like a classic roadster size.
Yeah.
The NC got a little bigger.
I like the arches though.
Yeah, it has nice flared arches.
Yeah. With wheels, it looks really good, lowered.
And you can fit more wheel and tire on it more easily than the NB.
Yeah.
It does have a bit more power, but I think power to weight ratios are probably very similar. I like the NC from the standpoint that it's basically the same chassis as the RX-8, and I owned an RX-8, and I know how to make that car work really well.
Yep.
So it'd be easy for us to set up the NC, but I mean, an NB, it's not
Well,
that different. It'll be easy to set that up too.
Getting an NC would be great, but the reality is we want to buy a budget car
cheap
here,
car,
and
yeah.
NCs are not that cheap.
Well-
not around. Well, the
rusty ones are.
The one I found. So getting to the point of searching for a car, it has been very difficult. I went and looked at a bunch of NBs and one NC, and it was rotted beyond rotted. And Miatas, for whatever reason, up here, I just don't think they used good sheet metal back in the day.
I don't know.
And they just rot. And it's weird because you would think not a lot of people would drive them in the winter, but they did. So the ones that are clean command a huge premium because they're not rusty.
Yeah.
Which I just don't I can't wrap my head around spending, 8 to 10 grand
Yeah.
on a car that, somebody could potentially write off in the first lap.
Yeah.
So we want to be into it for a modest budget.
Yeah.
I guess that's where you guys come in handy, and maybe you can help us find either an NB or an NC Miata.
Yeah.
If the price is right, like we'll pretty much take almost anything. We just want to make sure that it's rust free.
Yeah.
It hasn't been in a big accident. Like minor fender benders are fine. If it's got different panels, we're okay with it. If it's been repainted, it's cool. If you've done your own mods to it, that's okay as well.
Yeah.
Like we're fine doing all the mechanical work, changing stuff out in that sense, but we just want to start with a good, clean chassis, rust-wise.
Yeah, it makes life so much easier. As we learned with our 350Z, which came from Arizona, that car's a treat to work on. And this
so
is
nice.
also a car that we found through publishing a video like this, where
Yeah.
we asked you guys for help sourcing us a car. So we're hoping there is a Mazda owner out there, or somebody who just is a watcher of Craigslist in Arizona who spotted a good deal on a Miata that might fit our needs pretty well. And like Pete said, we don't really care cosmetically.
No, we don't.
In fact, it might be kind of cool if it's a bit of a beater on the outside.
Yeah.
Give it
we want that shit car theme, right?
Yeah, a little patina I think would be kind of cool. And underneath, our goal is for it to not to be rusty and not to be bent.
Yeah.
And it'll make life so much easier just to turn bolts that aren't rusty and seized. And we'll put some basic maintenance into the car. We'll change out any ball joints or bushings that are worn.
Yep.
Like we want to make sure this is a safe car to take to the track.
We do.
And put our friends and supporters in. So we're not trying to kill anybody here.
No, we're not.
But we're trying to make life easier for us by sourcing a car that is rust-free or as rust-free as possible. So,
Budget-wise, 0 to 3 grand.
yes, that's
Yeah,
about
US.
it.
US. Let's just say
Yeah.
that because I know around there we still need the cost of bringing it back to Canada and whatnot, so it can add up quickly if we start raising the budget there. Like, I want to be able to, worst case, if we do write this car off, it's not like we can rebuild it quickly and get another one without really breaking the bank.
Yeah, and if you have a car with a blown engine, that might not even be a deal breaker for us. If it's a clean chassis,
Oh, yeah, even
we
automatic.
can source an engine cheap and easy.
We can
So,
do a
an
5-speed
automatic-
conversion because I know
yeah.
that the automatics are kind of like less sought after. So
Yeah.
we're all about that. Like it doesn't need to have an LSD. We can do all that work afterwards.
Yeah.
We just we want it clean, so when we're cracking bolts loose, we're not dealing with the struggle that is Canada-ish.
Yeah, and the rot too. Like
Yeah.
the rotted chassis here are just really not the safest to be pounding on at the racetrack either. So, yeah, guys, let us know if you know of any good deals on an NB or an NC Miata. We really appreciate it. And I mean, if you have a car that you think is also a good fit for a cheap car track challenge car that isn't a Miata, but you're like, maybe you're interested in this, Pete's a car shopper. He's a professional
Send
car
it my
shopper.
way.
So send it
Peter
over.
at Speed.Academy.
Exactly.
Send it all to me.
He will evaluate the excellence of your used products and decide if we're interested in purchasing or not. And what else can we say, Pete?
I think that's it.
That's a wrap?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
well,
you for watching once again.
Yeah, look forward to sharing this
Yeah,
new
we are
adventure with you guys.
really,
and
really excited about
putting
this.
some of you in the driver's seat. And who knows, maybe at the end of the season, we'll even do a Speed Academy versus the top 3 guys day where they race
Sure,
against
yeah,
us.
we'll try to come up with really cool
Lots
ideas.
of fun ways
yeah.
that we can play with this car. So stay tuned for lots of cheap track challenge car adventures. But we thought about a Z3 or a first gen Boxster or an RX-8. We thought of lots of different ideas.
Or like a Civic.
Cheap cars
Yeah.
that anyone could come and kind of thrash on.